Sick. Let's go.
We're here.
We're back.
We are
back.
Here. I am back.
We're back. We're all safe together. It was all fine.
It was fine.
All that touching wood paid off.
Yeah, because last week I was talking about the Atlantic Ocean, and I'm going to be honest, I've got a couple of flight stories that could have ended up in the old Atlantic.
So. Well, since you've been gone, I've been vigorously touching wood, so...
Since you've been gone!
That's a very good.
Did you have any guns pointed to your head?
I had no guns in the finger style or in the armory style, like in the the arsenal, as they would say. What is the word for that?
The artillery.
Artillery. That's good. I like that.
Artillerist.
Nice.
There's no artillery pointing at me at any point.
Nice.
I just want to say I'm wearing this hat for a reason. It does have your name on the side of it.
It does have my name. I never noticed that.
To represent Scott coming back, I thought I'd wear this hat.
It looks like the ground in any Minecraft.
Yeah, it does.
If you dug to the core.
Yeah, that's a great shout.
It does.
It's like you've never got rid of any clothes that you've ever bought from like O2.
Yeah, this fit my head when I was like in my 20s. Like it's slowly sliding up off my head at this point.
Bruno, I want you to, and anyone that's just listening to this on iTunes and Spotify, go over to the YouTube, the Peppercorn Boys, also on TikTok. But you'll get eyes on the present I brought home from Philadelphia for Joe.
Hello.
Whoa, it's only Cody Rhodes.
That is a lovely shirt. That is.
He finished his story, and so did I, because I got the best wrestling shirt I think ever made.
Yeah.
It's soft.
For looking after Luke for the week.
Yeah.
Joe's present was a homage Cody Rhodes t-shirt.
Homage.
With a wintergreen and peppermint zin tint.
Woo! The best gifts I could get from America.
So, I think that's a good group.
Yeah, it is nicotine and Rhodes, mate.
Well, this is it. That's all you kind of need.
That's what my weekend was made up of, pretty much.
Well, this is it. Whoa. There's only Cody Rhodes. He's always got a whoa in his song.
He does. He likes a whoa.
We haven't spoken at all, other than just in WhatsApp throughout the holiday.
I quite like it.
As far as this podcast goes, my theory is there's no pepper or cornet.
Okay.
There's no Bruno's the type of guy.
Okay.
We just discussed what's happened this week.
Thank God, because I was scrambling for a pepper or cornet right before this as well.
Is it just all about Scott today?
I think if we call it, it's all about Scott.
It's all about Scott.
What was the song?
It's all about Scott.
From
Scotty Does Know.
Scotty Does Know. That's a good one, yeah. Scotty Does Know.
I like that.
That's not bad.
I like that. All right, cool.
But I
all right, what's this? Let's get deep into the flights, mate. Then, shall we?
So
you got some transatlantic stories.
Mm-hmm. As we know, avid listener of the show, we went with Kieran.
Yeah, the Bruce,
and we do now know that anything we bring up on here is going directly into his ears.
Did he listen to the one last week that we said he was going to be listening to over there?
I don't know. He might have done it today because he was waiting for a train. No, bus for a long time. He got it moved, though, and he's very impressed with himself. So
nice.
Oh, wow. He's growing up.
he's growing up. I'll say this, though. This is jumping ahead, but it makes a lot of sense here. I went to a bar to watch an Arsenal game. Kieran had, let's just say, Dippy tummy. and he stayed in a hotel. And he said, I might come meet you if I feel a bit better. Cool. I went with young Elton Prince.
Yes.
And we met up with James from Gunner Blog.
Yes.
And we were at the Misconduct Tavern. It turns out there is 2 Misconduct Taverns. We were in the wrong one. But it was a lovely setting.
What are the chances you have the same bar?
Literally, the story that I really want to get to, obviously this is a wild story, but the story I want to get to is kind of ripping into Kieran. But I think if I tell a slow one here, I'll get you... We all get to rip into Kieran right at the end of it.
Okay, that'll keep him listening.
It'll keep his earballs.
Yeah.
So,
all I'm wondering, in this is how did you realise that he had a dippy tummy? Because the boy spends a ridiculous amount of time in that bathroom on holiday. So, at what point did it tick over that he may not have been right?
It was when he started standing in corners and he had just he was half mooning his eyes, looking at everyone. So I just thought,
like a dog waiting to go out.
And then he did start to shake. So I was like, all right, what's up?
Did he start to whine a little bit?
He said, Dippy tummy, like that. Dippy tummy. But there was, the poor guy, though, was, the way the room worked, you've seen the room.
Yeah.
It's quite big, but he's in, the front room, as you will.
Yeah.
The toilet is only in the bedrooms. And he would snore in the night. So what would happen is we would shut the door. Then, in the morning, he'd be desperate for the toilet. And he'd be scared to come in. So, because you don't want to wake us up.
There's a sink in the kitchen.
Well, Not with a dippy tummy, you know.
Not for that.
Not with the dippy tummies.
There's a tap.
There was a dishwasher.
That's what the tap
Is there not? Is there not a lobby? Is there not a lobby
So
toilet?
there was, but I think it was like the second floor, and it was like where breakfast was, I guess. So I think he eventually did that.
Nah.
But on this occasion, he did have a dippy tummy, and
All right. Cool.
when we landed, I happened to run in from James from Gunnabog, which is, so he's a guy who writes for The Athletic, and he does a podcast I to it from Arsenal. And I recognised him. I'd never known what he looked like until very recently because he did a YouTube video. And so I happened to see him. We started talking about Arsenal, and I said, he said, "You going to watch the game?" I said, yeah. And he said, "Misconduct Tavern." I said, "Yeah, that's the one that I'm going to." That's the end of that situation. So we part ways, and he says, "DM me your number, and we'll go over it." Cool. So we exchange numbers. And this is like a day and a half later or something. We start walking. We go pick up Elton Prince.
Yep.
And first of all, he's in shorts and a t-shirt in Philadelphia, so we have to go up to our room and get him a jacket.
It was very cold.
So we get him a jacket. He sees the Bruce, with the half moon in the corner, and he goes, "The boy's got a bad tummy." And he said, "Yeah," and he was still shaking in the corner. So we take the jacket, we leave. He never says a word to us. And then we carry on to the tavern. We get to the tavern. It's pretty much 1 minute to kick off. And James from Gunnabog is the only person in this Arsenal bar. And apparently Philadelphia's quite a big Arsenal. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, that little walk around that I saw you put on Instagram or TikTok, it definitely didn't look like there was much red in that bar.
There was about 10 Arsenal fans. And then that was it. And then a Hindu turned up.
Nice.
But we had a great time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
obviously, it's Lissy, myself, James Gunnabog, and I say all that every time, and Elton Prince, which is just a funny little mix of people. We have a lovely time. Lew eats, it's a very nice, but he's got a cool time.
Yeah.
That's the only issue. And he's got, I think that was Saturday, wasn't it? So he was going to Mania.
Yeah.
He had a shuttle at 3, and the game finished at 2:45, and it's a 50-minute walk. And he left, and by the way, 5 minutes towards the end of the game. And he got recognised a lot on the way out, so he had to stop for a lot of pictures. But we get to the end of the game, all the way through again. It's really wild. I thought, and like James said, Poorly Drawn Arsenal, if you've ever seen that is based in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, there's a big old support system here. And he gets a text right at the end of the game, and he just goes, "They've just said to me, it's a shame you couldn't make it. Hopefully make it for the Bayern game." And he texts back, he says, "I'm here." And they're like, "Where?" And he said, "Just by the bar." And they were like, "No, you're not." They send a picture. There's 400 people at Misconduct Tavern 3 blocks away. And we weren't in the right one.
I feel like you dodged a bullet, though. Taking James from Gunnerblog and Elton Prince into that busy bar would have been a Mania weekend as well.
Mania weekend at an Arsenal bar, and you take a very known Arsenal person and a wrestler. I don't think it would have ended well. So in the end, I think it was a good thing. But here's the thing.
No, that's good.
If I dropped you guys in Philadelphia, and this, I think we told the Reading story, didn't we? Of Kieran trying to get the Reading Festival.
Yeah.
We like to call it Benjamin Franklin.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. Yeah.
So Franklin is on a giant building, and he points at our hotel. So it's a pretty easy thing to remember because he's giant and he's pointing. He's literally doing this. So we'd always go, "Look at Franklin," and then we'd know where we are. Yeah.
Wait.
Philadelphia.
He should know. He posted it on his story enough.
Philadelphia, did he? I feel like I was just taking pictures of buildings. Broad Street is one long thing, and then right at the top of it there's a square. We're on the right of the square. We look at where I looked at where the bar was. It was down Broad Street, about 3 blocks across the road. Go down there. And what I did, because obviously we're in is it 21st century, 22nd century?
No idea.
We're in 21st century.
21st century.
21st century.
Yeah.
I had a phone. And what it does, it just beeps. Like, there's a little blue dot.
Yeah, it just tells you,
follow it, and it goes directly to the pin.
Yeah.
So we get there. It says a 13-minute walk. It takes 13 minutes. About halfway through the game, Kieran says, "Whereabouts is this bar?"
Oh, no.
Yeah. And we go, "Why?" And he goes, "Because I'm on Broad Street." So I think he's willy-nilly just walked onto Broad Street, which is like a 10-minute walk. He's not halfway down Broad Street.
Yeah.
So he's trying to figure it out.
He's almost at the stadium.
Yeah, and he said, "I'm buying..."
Did he get to the right one?
That would be
He's like, I'm here with 400 people. I can't see.
See, that's a better story, so I feel like maybe we should switch it to that. Essentially, he rings us. I can't find it. We're like, where are you? And he was just somewhere on Broad Street. So now we're outside the bar, looking down like blocks, trying to wave to find him. And we never understood why his phone never came out. And he just walked to the pin. I dropped the pin as well as the address. Why is this still happening? This is like 10 years on.
Oh my goodness!
Why is this still happening?
Okay, me and Kieran are very similar when it comes to phones.
I have faith that you found that.
Oh, I would have found it for sure, but I'm just not great with phones. Kieran's the same. But I mean, I only just discovered you can change a photo from your phone into a sticker.
I inadvertently found that a few weeks ago, and then I inadvertently send them in text messages, and it isn't that hard to do, Bruno, is it? He caught me out on it.
I still think it's a little difficult to do. I don't use that sticker function on.
I accidentally did it
on the phone.
I didn't do it.
Now I've got loads because once I found out I could do it, I made loads.
That's what I was doing yesterday. Yeah.
Now they're very prominent, and I send them to all sorts of people.
That's what you need.
It is to be fair.
For a guy with a fear of actual stickers as well.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
It's good that you can have digital stickers.
I must admit, every time I slap one into a message, I do imagine it's on the side of my arm or something. And it's small, it's like inch by inch.
Wow.
But jumping back to the flights, the way out was absolutely fine. It was like it was only just over 7 hours.
It's quick.
Yeah. Like as much. I'm so used to either Florida or whatever, like Texas or something. It was absolutely fine. The flight is perfect. We're hearing there's like flood warnings in Philadelphia. We're thinking this is a bit sus. When we get close, the rain's gone and everything. We're like, it's perfect. And there's not really any turbulence. When we land, I've never heard about 250 people simultaneously get winded on a landing. He hit the tarmac so hard he went back up for a second. Ate like a bounce. But everyone just went, and then everyone started like talking really like loudly because it was like a panic.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that weren't even looking and
bad form.
Yeah, it was.
Was it windy?
That wasn't.
Because, I mean, we had a lot of the wind issues over here where planes were struggling to land. Like, I saw videos of planes trying to come into, like, Dublin.
Yeah, I would like to see our landing today. Because he said we're landing in 10 minutes or something. We circled for about 35 minutes.
I saw that on the tracker.
Yeah, and he couldn't get the right landing. And then once we got Bodecat, I found out why. Because he was just like, there was stuff coming out of the side of the wings. I was just like, and like Lissy was there, and I was just pushing her head. I was like, it's fine. She was like, what's that noise? I said, it's fine.
Pushing her head where?
Just forward into the
screen.
Into the screen.
Yeah.
I played a game on there this morning. I couldn't stop playing it.
Did you?
One way it's like the 2s to a 4 to an 8, and I was like,
what's that?
I don't know.
Mine's sweet.
I think British Airways might be sponsored by it because they were advertising it a lot.
Quite scary when smoke just appears on a plane, don't it?
There was smoke, and it was left, right, and then he landed it perfectly.
I had one of those once where I think I was going to Greece, and we were in takeoff, like, you know, when the plane's doing this, like you've taken off and you're going towards clouds, and the whole inside of the plane filled with smoke.
Yeah,
it was just pumping in.
It's not smoke.
No, but at the time I didn't know what it was. It just looked like smoke bellowing into where we were. And no one else seemed to be reacting. And I was doing this.
Yes, because everyone else knows it's water.
Yeah. I was like, what are we doing? I was like, what's it? No one's reacting.
I've never seen it.
I was looking at the person next to me like,
you
see this?
Do you smell smoke?
Scott, do you know in my car sometimes the aircon comes out? It's just that.
It's that, yeah. We had that issue. You know, the overhead baggage. Yeah. It was about 4 rows ahead of us on the way out. Just started streaming water out of it. And they thought someone had left their bottle open. It was just a massive condensation issue with the aircon. But it was like, all their bags or their jackets, they were pulling them out soaked at the flight. And it was pouring onto everyone underneath. This is ideal. But what was ideal was a girl was sick for about 3 hours behind us on the flight home.
Oh, no, I've had that before.
She was probably like 14, 15, and her dad was there. The guy on the aisle seat is asleep.
Yeah.
And what happened was, I'm laying there, I'm like kind of half dozing, I couldn't sleep properly. And what sounded like was someone poured out like a 2-liter really quickly.
Woo!
And I went like that. And her dad's reaction to it, I'm not going to say it because we don't have bad language on here. He essentially went, holy poop, what the F? Like, so loud, but with no, like, full swear. and which didn't help it, and it was right here. And we look, and yeah, she's filled the bag, and the woman comes down and goes, "Oh, she's been sick," and he was like, "Yeah, should we do something about it?" And the woman was like, "Yeah." She goes away for literally about 2-3 minutes. The guy's stressing, holding it, and she comes back and goes, "We touch food, we can't really touch it." And he was like, "Oh, brilliant! Do you want to get a bag?" And like she brings back like a Rich Harry's bag. He puts it in it. He like runs it up, comes back. She's filled another one.
I had one
just
like
carried
that.
on like that.
I had a flight like that.
I know.
Yeah, I was filling plastic bags. They were handing us plastic bags, and I was just filling them.
We should probably put a trigger warning.
Yeah. Peppercorns.
Yeah, Peppercorns.
I had a very bad episode on a ferry to Guernsey once.
No, I bet you did. Yeah. Were you half mooning in the corner? Did you have that dippy coming?
I look very dippy, but I went into the toilets. I couldn't get into a cubicle. I projectiled over the ride.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Do you know what's crazy is that's followed you, that kind of stuff and that kind of style.
And I was eating munchies, so it was chocolate.
Oh no!
I'm never eating munchies. That's ruined it. Massive. That's awful. I hated that. I really like munchies. I love munchies.
I'm done with chocolate. I think. I saw someone throw up red wine once, and it put me off red wine for life.
I think that happened when we were in school. Yeah. When we do like the house parties in school, and realistically everyone was like 15, and but I think someone had drank red wine, and I thought there was blood everywhere because someone was being sick. Crackers.
Who drinks red wine at 15?
I know you were there in front of you. Can imagine Bruno just holding it sideways, looking up, holding up to the moonlight, doing that E20. He's looking at the guy.
No.
No, as the flights, Kieran couldn't find that place.
Kieran had a little bit too much to drink, didn't he, one night?
One night.
It was before the Dicky time, one night.
That was the next day. No, next day. No, it was the night before that.
Was that the cause of the Dicky tummy, or was it something from Reading
Terminal Market?
Terminal Market.
I know he wasn't sure about the stuff in there. Some of it. He had a brisket with me, though. We were both fine. We were both trying to figure out what we'd done different because we'd eaten pretty much the same food. But he did drink a lot, and I can't remember why. It was the SmackDown night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the next morning he goes, I don't know why I feel sick. And I was like, yeah, he's like, because we've eaten the same food. There's nothing crazy. I was like,
drinking water?
Yeah, he was drinking loads of water. Yeah, about 3 Gatorades and about 4 litres of no tap water.
Okay.
And I said, it might be the 9 bottles of Bud Light you had last night. Like, maybe it's that. And he was like, no, it's something's disagreeing. I was like, it could be that, though, couldn't it?
Could be a dirty bottle.
It could have been. Sometimes you do get a dirty bottle.
I got very sick drinking from a dirty bottle once.
By the way,
establishment were you drinking?
Was this Joe or me?
Mine was after we won a match in London, and I grabbed a fan's beer, drank it, and then I was very sick.
No, I made that mistake before.
Mate,
I took a Haribo off a fan at the end of the match, and I had a bad stomach for about a week. No, genuinely, I'll never do that again.
No, I'm very careful with that stuff now.
Yeah, you got to learn. We like to talk food here, so I feel like I need to talk a little food. I had a brisket. I just brought it up. A brisket. I think I sent you the video or the picture or something. Sandwich. I'll say this: that was the best hoagie / cheesesteak that we've had. Sorry, on the trip. Cheesesteaks might be a little bit overrated.
Ooh.
If there was a peppercorn it, I'd say corn it.
Do you reckon they were overhyped though before you went? If you just went and you didn't know what they were,
I wouldn't have ordered it. I would have ordered a burger. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, the only way to describe them, because I had 2 in the end. One in a restaurant while watching WrestleMania watch party, and then I had like a proper, the one that was being talked about.
Yeah.
Where it's called Taste, and they have, it's more upmarket, so it's like $18. for a cheesesteak.
You don't. You went for the bougie cheesesteak, mate. Don't try.
What
and
are you
go
told
for a
to, though?
bougie
Yeah, the
one, mate.
locals.
You got to go for like the.
That's the point of
go
it.
for Geno's, bro.
Wait, I think
You're like. Nah.
We were told by the locals, do not go to Gina's and Pat's. We don't own them. They're not Philadelphia. They're just it's money makers that on TripAdvisor. They're like, they pump a load of money into like Google
Yeah.
ads, and they're like,
All
nothing
right.
to do with us. They were like, go to Taste, go to Delisandro's. Delisandro's a 40-minute drive, not doing that. So I went to Taste. The only thing with Taste is a little bit out of market. It was $18. And then the other options in there were oxtail, which was $34, salmon cheesesteak.
Salmon?
Yeah. And
Hey, Scott would eat that for sure.
I don't know why he said that. I like smoky salmon. I don't think if that was cooked salmon with cheese on it, I don't think I can do that.
Not a big fan.
Oxtail sounds good. But what I'd say is the texture feels almost like a kebab meat sandwich.
Oh, I'm game.
Kind of.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It is stripped meat.
Yeah. The one that I ate, I ate. Franklin was pointing at me while I was eating it. So
Yeah.
I was down there just.
You were living the Philly experience.
I felt very Philly, like kind of hunched up on a step,
Yeah. With a hoodie on, a jacket.
Yeah, I was cold.
Ready to do some work with your hands.
Well, this is it. They, as everyone would say that to me, go Birds.
Go Birds.
Am I right?
How did it feel being a Dallas Cowboys fan in Philadelphia?
Nah.
I worried instantly because when we got off the flight, we waited for a shuttle that 5 days later we learned we would have waited forever because there wasn't one. We were told there was one when we got to the airport. At the end, we were like, can we jump on that shuttle that goes back to me? We don't have a shuttle. So we were waiting for one that was never going to come. But we got an Uber. We got a Tesla Uber.
Ooh.
From what can only be described as... The guy was like an American version of Chunks.
What?
Yeah. So imagine someone that is like talks like Chunks, but if he was from Philadelphia.
That's amazing.
So he was quite chaotic in this red Tesla.
Nice.
The boot was full of glitter.
Was it?
Yeah. He worked at a casino.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what was going on, but I mean, he was very nice.
Casino or
No, it was a casino. It was a casino. The establishment was gambling. No, from what I know. But I mean, instantly, my TripAdvisor research was thrown out the window, and this guy was just laughing at me.
Nice.
He was like, what are you going to get up to? I'd say something, and he'd just start laughing. He's like, that's not a good thing. And then he kind of went after me. So Bruno did it, like Lissy and Kieran were laughing a lot. Because when I got to Broad Street where the saver, I said, yeah, and I thought we'd just walk it. And he was like, brother thinks he can walk it. He kept saying it to me, and I was just like, well, yeah. And he was like, it's 3 miles. And I was like, well, yeah, that's not that bad.
To the stadium.
Brother, he said people can't even make it up there when they jog.
Oh.
And I was like, 3 miles is fine. Like 3 miles actually.
It's a straight line as well.
But he kept bringing it up. Like every time I go to talk, he goes, brother thought he could walk this. And
He thought you would
Hey,
take...
hold on a second. Did brother
No,
walk it?
I
Did he
know, I
attempt to
didn't.
walk it?
It isn't walkable.
We've done that a lot, though, when we go to America. We try and walk everywhere.
I think his fear, and I was told by another local, was don't walk through that area at
Yeah,
the bottom. He was like,
No, yeah.
he was like, that's more the fear. Don't do that
Yeah.
at night time.
Oh, yeah.
But that guy's Uber trip, and I was like, we're going to get a cheesesteak. I mean, where would you get a Philly cheesesteak? He said, oh, fuck, I certainly wouldn't call it a Philly cheesesteak. He said, look around, where are we, brother? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, he said, do you go to China and go, can I get some Chinese food? Yeah, Bruno's laughing at you now in real time when you're tired and I've got in this Uber. I'm covered in glitter from this guy's car. And he's going after me a little bit.
That's funny.
But he told us like the places to go. I don't know if he was worth listening to. He kept telling me though, Meek Mill took a picture on South Street that day and he was like, I need to find Meek. So that was the rest of his day, I assume. But no, he was good, and he like showed us where the hotel was and that. And then I instantly got a Chili's, which it didn't feel like like a Chili's when you think of Chili's, you think of the hot dog logo.
Yeah.
It was that, but this was like Chili's if it was made into like a TGI. Like it felt very
A bit
sit-in, not very fast foody.
Upmarket, did it? All right.
Maybe I'm being like bizarre with it.
I think the Chili's me and Kieran went to in Orlando was a little bit like that. It was more sit down.
Yeah, I thought Chili's was just hot dogs and it was a bit like sus.
No, I think you do sit down in there, yeah.
And if you asked, Kieran would be listening to this laughing because, and listen, they're probably laughing because I was very keen on Chili's once I had it.
Yeah.
And no one else was. I very much wanted to go back to Chili's a lot.
Me and Kieran had a fun time in Chili.
Yeah. I had some chicken tendies and it came with buffalo sauce and barbecue sauce. And the fries were really good.
Nice.
And it literally, the minute we got off the flight, that day was 5 a.m. got to the airport by 9. The flight was at 1, so we had a bit of a wait.
Yeah.
We ended up having.
You got there so early.
It was. We thought the traffic was going to be so much worse, and it just wasn't. And then Luke, we wanted to give Luke his breakfast at normal time. It was just funny thing.
Yeah.
There was a 4-hour gap, and then it was a 7-hour flight. 40 minutes of waiting for a shuttle. Then we got the Uber with the guy who just couldn't stop ripping into me. And then we got to the airport. Into the hotel. As we got into the lift, we had Lewis and Sammy saying, like, "Do you want to go to Chili's? Meet us at Chili's." We're like, "Oh, okay." So we literally walked into the room, took that video, put our bags down, walked back down, and then just walked down to the street. And I've obviously showed Kieran what a phone is, and I said, "So see that pin? That's where we're going." We walk out of the thing, and there's like an alley to the right, and I just see Sam and Lew walking the opposite direction at the right at the end of it, like really far, not like far enough that you could shout. So you just so we head on down. In the end, I don't fully understand how they got kind of lost, because their hotel literally looked onto Chili's. They walked out the front, walked around the side, and were heading the wrong way.
Oh, okay.
So I rip into Kieran for not understanding.
Yeah.
But we get down there, and they end up coming back down, and then we have a Chili. We have chicken tendies for like 3 hours.
Heck yeah.
Lewis proceeded to what looked like game food by the end. And it took about 2 hours to eat it. So
a slow eater, is he?
yeah, you can say that. Yeah, yeah, very slow eater.
Mate, I'll have to do that TikTok trend. Have you seen it going around? Like, eat the same pace as your boyfriend or girlfriend, and it's like the girl trying to keep up with the guys, and then the guys are just like.
Yeah, he got a side of broccoli he never ate. It was just freezing cold, just like that.
Big man doesn't like vegetables.
No, he doesn't. He's tried though. That's what we were really impressed with.
It's all about the trying.
He really did try.
I tell you one person who wouldn't like that turnaround.
Oh, Joe.
And that's Joe.
Oh yeah, we talked about this, didn't we?
We were talking about it on the way home today with Lissy. That's 6 years since we've been to a new city.
Yeah,
that we didn't know because that was new.
Oh yeah,
because. Oh no, 8 years.
8 years,
Dallas, because with New Orleans we've been before, Orlando we've been before, and then Dallas was the first new city. And again, when we landed there in a brand new city, we went instantly just walking into the distance. This one felt safer because we were told to go somewhere by people that had been there for 24 hours.
Yes,
so it was a bit more like clean cut.
Yeah. It's not that I don't like. It's not about the like. It's just having a minute, Just
we did have a minute. You needed a minute though. That's fair. You got changed though, in all fairness, and you went.
Oh, I did, yeah. Went out into the Dallas rain.
You did. And then the next day, because they went back to the hotel, we went to like a 7-Eleven, got some snacks. It was about a 23-hour day in the end when we went to sleep.
Yeah.
And then jet lag woke me up 3 hours later. And that proceeded to keep happening.
You definitely up.
Yeah.
You were definitely up early that morning.
Yeah. Each day are kind of like it was 5 a.m. and then 5 a.m. and then 6 a.m. and then 7 a.m.
What did you do in that time? Because you had to wait for people to wake up.
I would make TikToks of the day before. On TBA Wrestling. And then I would kind of go out there and Kieran was kind of staring. And then we would go down to breakfast because it was 6:30 breakfast. And then he'd proceed.
Was he staring or was he looking a bit sheepish?
This is pre...
Just waiting to see if he can go to the toilet, yeah.
This is pre-tummy... Yeah. He was waiting in the corner every time I got in.
Should we get him a mouth guard?
Yeah, he did have a snore. Apparently, I had a really bad snore.
Did you?
The night before? Or that first night? I don't know. At some point, I had a snore because Lissy told 5 different people that story. Which every time I was disappointed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm not a snorer, so
she sold
it
you
hurt
out
me a
there.
little bit, because I've done so well, I think, to be my size and not a snorer.
You're proud. You are so proud.
I was so proud of being not a snorer, but now I'm a snorer.
It comes to us all.
Yeah. We went to Reading Terminal Market, which again, another Philly thing. We checked off a few things, so I'm not going to explain all this. But I mean, Reading Terminal Market, and I got a brisket thing. I got cheesesteak at a local recommended place. We did the Rocky Steps, which I didn't run up, but I walked. I'm going to fast forward the video.
Yeah, best way to do it.
But my word, do people really get in character up there?
Did
you make it look like you were running at least?
No.
Like,
I moved my arms like the shadows were like. And when it got to the top, I did this. But really, I was just doing it. What's interesting is some people don't film it; they do it.
What, without
no one else, just on their own? Yeah, they run it, get to the top, and then they.
It's just their cardio, isn't it?
No, these are people like tourists. Like there's people actually doing
how good is
cardio.
that cardio?
There are people like shirtless joggers running up there.
You'd feel it though if you lived there and that's where you did your cardio. That would be very.
That's where you'd run, for sure. Because where it is as well is, in the pictures you can kind of see it's like a diagonal, like with a load of flags, right, all the way up to the right at the end. The thing in the middle is Benjamin Franklin pointing out a hotel, but it's about a mile and a half away. If you run down those steps and then just went over that kind of park and then walked up that avenue, you get to another set of steps, which is where Jason Kelsey did the Super Bowl speech. Ooh. And then you go around that and you carry on that walk down the Flag Avenue. To the right, you'd have Misconduct Bar that we didn't go to, the wrong one, as well as Taste. And then and then on the left was where we watched WrestleMania. Carry on down, you get to Benjamin Franklin, he's pointing at the hotel, you go home. And he's also pulling he's kind of pulling a cheap Chili's a little bit.
Is he?
A little bit.
Maybe that's what he's saying.
He's trying to say, whoever's saying it, go check out Chili's
there
again.
It is, right
I know you've been there once, but probably do it again.
You pretty much, like, when you think about everything you did this weekend, you pretty much covered all the bases you possibly could in one week. A very long weekend.
That was, we were saying this as well. We were very happy with the things we did. The only thing we didn't do is look at, like, Liberty Bell.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have traded out any of the other things to replace it, if that makes sense.
Oh,
you were also in Philadelphia, though, when a very historic earthquake / eclipse happened.
We've seen both of these things.
Somehow you were in the right place for both those things. I would say the right place for an earthquake, but
I was in a Macy's and I didn't feel anything, but apparently other people in Macy's did feel it.
Yeah.
I know people that were doing wrestling shows close and the room shook. But I didn't feel. I don't know if Macy's is so. It was like Philadelphia is kind of like Winchester if it was super dirty. There's a lot of like history to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like Birmingham, a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's incredibly like historic.
Steeped in history, And the building, like Macy's, is like the walls are probably like 30 feet wide. Big old school building. So I don't know if it was just a strong building, but we were in an elevator when it happened. We got all the texts coming through from everyone going, "You're right," and I was like, "What's happening?"
I bet the indie guys that were wrestling there think they were getting a proper good reaction.
The crowd is getting going.
So the Eclipse didn't kind of fully do it, but I mean,
you're only just off the path of it, though.
Yeah, it was pretty much like maybe what's a good fraction here? 7/8 like covered. So it felt like dusk. It went from like bright sun to like dusk. Back to sun.
You experienced 2 of those now.
Yeah. Because we had a full one at home in like 99, didn't we? Where it went dark.
Yeah.
Because Texas went fully dark.
Texas to Boston, it was like a sweep.
Yeah.
It was quite. We should have been in the bar.
From Mexico,
just underneath it. On the map, you were like let's say that was the line. You were like here.
Oh wow. Because I was thinking back in 99, I remember we went to like a Bramdean Common and watched it on the boot of the car.
Dad brought it up yesterday and he said, why did we go to the woods?
Good clearing.
True.
Good visuals.
Yeah, it is. You need...
And I was thinking, but this one I watched in Philadelphia, the difference between how the English do it and the Americans is very different. In England, you just sat on the boot of your car and you're looking at it and going, that's cool, and you're in Bramdean Common.
Yeah.
On this one, there's 600 people outside Terminal Market pointing up. Half the people don't know what they're pointing at, so they're panicking and the world's ending.
Like Independence Day all over again.
Alarms are just going off. The fire engine just appears. And everyone's emptying the buildings. It was just, and there was a woman walking around going, glasses, and she was like selling them. It was like Twister. That's what it felt like. And it was getting darker. And like Kieran, his tummy went again because he was like, I don't feel good. He was like, I don't feel good about
the
this.
energy was off.
Yeah, he didn't like it. He was trying to get a bit like freaked out.
I watched the news reports from America that showed where it was happening all the way up, and they were going. There was proper gatherings, and they were cheering it like a sports event.
Well, that's what we were saying. We were like, if this goes dark, 100% there's a clap coming.
Oh, for sure.
We were like certain of it, and it never fully did.
Yeah.
But I mean...
Well, there's that one news reporter that's gone viral, isn't there? She lost her mind. Live on air.
What?
Yeah, she was like, oh my God!
It's not
wow! Wow!
I said what was sad was the birds going to bed during it.
They do that.
They get very confused.
They get very confused.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Quite upset.
Bless them.
Quite a lot of Americans went to bed.
I tell you what, Bruno. I don't know if we brought this up before on the podcast, really. But Bruno's LOGANG for life.
Oh, he is, yeah. Prime is running through his veins. I'm pretty sure what he got out the freezer earlier was probably a Prime.
It was a Prime. I couldn't find you that Philly thing.
Unfortunately.
Oh, here we go. We'll toast to that. I've got one too. Look at that.
I haven't.
Yeah, boy.
Outside the stadium and everywhere, they're just giving you C4s.
Oh, I like C4.
I don't, it turns out. I drank that walking back from the stadium.
They're strong.
Mate, that's pre-workout.
Yeah, that is. They're very strong.
Mate.
Yeah, mate.
Is it? Mate.
Well, because like Lou, James brought it up to Lou, and he was like, I've tried these C4s W shilling at the World. And Lou was like, yeah, do you like that, bro? You know, he's like, yeah, they must have. He was doing that kind of stuff. And James goes, yeah, he goes, I had 2 of them. And Lou was like, what? He's like, what did you say? He was like,
I have them when I work out. Like, I don't have it normal life.
He had back-to-back, 2 back-to-back. And he said, my face was numb.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, he seemed a bit worried about it. But yeah, he had those C4s. I tried one. I had the same similar reaction. They were intense. Outside the stadium, apparently, they were also throwing people the Prime bottles.
Really?
Like, for free. We couldn't find them in amongst the chaos. We were like, we got what I was. Kieran. Every time I said Prime, Kieran was like,
oh, got mine for free.
Yeah. Kieran was like, what's Prime? Oh, it's not Logan, is it? Like, I was like, Kieran, come on. He did admit to me, he goes, during the Logan Paul match, he turns to me in a drunken haze on his way to a Dippy tummy.
Oh, here we go.
He goes, my frog splash better. and Lissy proceeded again. He doesn't know. Lissy goes, do you touch your toes and then do a frog splash before you hit the ground? He's like, no, I'll give it to him. And he went, no, I'll give it to him. He goes, realistically, he said, he's winning me over. And he goes, the only reason I hate him is because Bruno likes him. He finally admitted it.
I've never seen someone do that in a frog splash before. Like that was a full split in the air into a frog splash.
I'd say this, to do that as a finish on the same show as Montez Ford doing the exact same finish, but it was wilder.
Yeah.
Says something, I think, as far as athletics go.
You can't doubt Logan at this point. He's very good.
Yeah. And Chunks on the way on that Uber, he also said to us, when you do the stadium, he said, if you call an Uber, do not call the Uber when you leave the stadium. He said, walk 5 blocks, order it. They'll all be waiting because they can't get down because the police cut off a lot.
Oh, okay.
And he helped us out loads because we finished night 1, the Rock and Roll were halfway up the ramp, and we were going, there's not a surprise tonight, is it? There won't be a surprise tonight. We're like, we're going to leave. And a lot of people were already leaving. We got in what felt like, because it was freezing cold, we were walking across grass. Felt like Reading Festival. And I had a C4.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And there was like girls like giving out C4 in primes. Where it was like leaving, we were in like droves. And I was like, this is like, and Kieran was like, it's like Reading Festival, but not as cold. And we walked like 5 blocks and it started to thin out and thin out. Until a point where it was just us. And it was in the scariest little area.
Oh, I bet.
We called the Uber. It was 1 minute away. He whipped around and he took us up Broad Street and he spent 15 minutes telling us how angry he was about this whole experience.
Oh, I bet.
Not with us.
We've had that before.
He said he'd cancelled 30 trips because the pickup point was inside the stadium. And he says because he was, in his words, people that aren't from around here are just ordering it when the event finishes. And he said thinking they're going to find the random Toyota Corolla amongst 70,000 people in the car park and all these police. And he's like, I'm not going back down there. And that was the thing. But that guy telling us that really helped us because we were back at the hotel before nearly everyone. And that was the easiest I've ever got out of the stadium. I didn't leave early.
I think you text me saying you were safe, which I wasn't expecting. By the time it was finished, I'd fed the dogs and gone to bed, and you said you were safe. So it took me the same amount of time to get from downstairs to the bed that it took you to get back safe.
Well, this is it. And
the dogs, did you have more dogs over on Saturday night?
Yeah, Lisa was here with our dogs.
Oh.
Yeah, so we fed them before we went to bed to save Lisa having to wake up.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Super early.
So that night we ended up staying out with Sam and Lew until about 3:30. And the process of all this is I went to the World and we were like 10 yards from Logan Paul. He was around this corner, but you could hear him. We can't see him.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right.
They do say that you hear Logan before you see him.
Yeah, you do. There was a guy that was also in full Maverick. His gear looked just like him. We nearly got a picture with him because we were like, it would be funny if we went to Bruno. Dead serious. We've met Logan.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look enough like him.
Like fake Logan.
Yeah, it's funny enough.
Yeah.
And then we left the hotel on Sunday after the second night Mania. And as we're leaving the door, in comes, I don't remember the names or anything, but all of like Logan's team. So like the videographers and all the other guys and that, they all just kind of walk in front of us, and we're like, do we linger here just for a second? Because this could be the ultimate like get out Bruno.
Yeah.
And we were like, no, whatever. Next day we go into Reading Terminal Market, we turn a corner and Manager Jeff's just right in front of us. And Lissy's like, we have to get a picture of Manager Jeff. We got sidetracked by some food.
Oh yeah.
And we completely lost him. He disappeared. He'd scuttled into like a side.
Probably trying to get those brass knuckles to Logan when he was hiding.
I say Logan was around in town because he saw the eclipse from his jet, I think.
Oh yeah.
So they were obviously killing time that morning. So God knows, but I don't. Not the.
Yeah.
I can say this: some wrestlers could walk around. Logan couldn't have walked around.
No.
It was very busy.
What a weekend though.
Hey,
everything you were telling me, all the way up to the point where you got back at the stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories I won't say on here because I feel like the sanctity of wrestling. But like I say,
no.
But it was really. New Orleans is a great city for WrestleMania. I wasn't sure if Philly would be. I think it's an unreal one.
The layout just seemed perfect.
It really was, and we got so lucky with hotel proximity to Lewis and Sam, and to Reading Terminal Market and all the kind of cool bits. Because I know a lot of people that were staying in Fairmont, which was essentially the Rocky Steps.
Yeah.
And they never walked far enough to get to where we were, where there was more stuff happening.
I can't imagine staying that far away from the world and the shop.
Well, I guess. I was just going close to Reading Terminal Market, and I thought the square might be the safest area. So I just
you just happened to put yourself right in the middle. I never said Chili's.
I never knew it was a Chili's until that, but I always remember that Chili's, because I don't know if I'll be back in Philadelphia.
And we can shout it out because it was on our Instagram, but Vanessa Hudgens, big fan of the boys.
Hey, we need to talk about this, yeah.
Big fan of the boys.
Yeah, she's, I said it, she's a fan.
She is
I think she's a deep fan, that maybe she's playing it cool.
She knows things.
But sometimes you've got to go your own way. What one is that? What's the one where he's on the golf course? What's that called? Oh.
It's High School Musical 2. Come on. There should be no...
No, what's the song?
Bet on it. The... Worth taking. Every question, every move I make. Bet on it, bet on it, bet... Yes, bet on it.
Is that actually called Bet on it? Yeah.
Which is the better High School Musical than the second one.
It's the best one.
Yeah, it's good.
Fact.
It's good.
It is the best one, yeah.
It's good.
Well, it's safe to say Vanessa Hudgens loves wrestling. She thinks it's great.
Yeah, Vanessa Hudgens is a big fan. She's a big fan. She's a Peppercorn fan, and she listens to the show. And if you want to listen to the show, you should go to iTunes and Spotify 5-star review, because that's what she's recently done. So go there, and if you don't believe me, go check it, because you can see it at the bottom of our page. And while you're there, just click that 5-star because you're already there, and then download every episode, and then do that as your daily routine.
Oh yeah,
daily routine. Download all the episodes.
Heck yeah.
And if we get there, we get to 1,000 episodes, still do it. Do all 1,000 episodes every single day. And we'll go to Mania every year.
Wait.
Oh yeah, we're going to Minnesota.
Well, that's what they're saying.
This is episode. It hasn't been announced yet, though, is it?
It's not official.
I reckon they've seen how badly it was affected by cold.
Oh yeah,
people just getting around. They might think about that, but I think as far as stadium, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's Vegas or Minnesota, I think.
Vegas would be fun.
I also hold on a sec. You're trying to wrap this up.
No, I'm not wrapping it up. I just want to make sure Vanessa Hudgens.
You start going into a little spiel.
Yeah, I loved it. That's real.
Pepper or Cornet.
Yeah. Oh.
Pepper or Cornet. Yeah. WrestleMania 40.
Oh, so I'm gonna pepper it to the highest degree. It's the best WrestleMania ever.
Yeah, heavy pepper. So heavy that we're all sneezing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pepper spray it.
Yeah. And I was there live for night one, not night two. But night two in a bar was extremely fun. Night one was genuinely the highlight of the whole week. And it should be, obviously. But often when you go to big events, like you're a bit like, you're thinking about how to get home. You're, on this occasion, freezing cold.
Yeah.
But we had such a fun time. Shout out to the security guard. He was dancing to the music with Lissy, because Lissy would have to hide in shelter because we were 5 yards from all the Cody Rhodes' pyro.
Oh, is that why she was back there?
Yeah. It was shooting past us, just directly up. When we sat down, Lissy's like, "He's a nice seat." She looks to her right, and it's all the tarping behind the ramp, and it's just what looks like just explosives all the way along the chairs. And she goes, "That's not pyro," is it? I was like, "That's exactly what it is." She was like, "Oh." And do you know the ones that get you as well? It's the ones that have no pyro. It's just a sound.
Oh,
it's so loud.
Yeah.
And no one sees it coming.
Ryback used to use that one a lot.
Yeah, I know. Fear used it. When you pointed it. What do you think, Bruno? You watched both nights.
So overall hard pepper. It's that peppercorn sauce I made in the flat.
Oof.
But night one was a little bit below par for me. It had a weird feel. It started off hot, but then it got very
long,
weird, and then it finished.
Yeah,
it finished hot.
Yeah, it felt to me like a wrestling show. Like it didn't feel like Mania even live, because obviously you don't see the cameras, but it felt very.
Yeah.
It felt epic, but in a wrestling. It almost felt. It sounds weird. Like a Wrestle Kingdom-y type event, like a kind of match. Whereas night two, like Snoop Dogg's out there, there's crazy entrances. It just felt like there was an actual distinctive difference.
Yeah, I feel like that was it. I can hear myself on the echo of your end.
That's weird. They changed the lighting.
Two just absolutely.
Apparently, night two had different lighting because they said they lit it wrong and they said it looked too dark and it looked essentially looked like a Saudi show.
Yeah, true. I didn't think about it at the time.
Because of the colouring.
I'm going with the consensus of the person that I watched it with, Josh, and we had a couple group chats with people watching it, didn't we, Scott? So I just feel like definitely night one didn't have that edge for certain things, but night two was phenomenal.
It was like a nice, setup to night two. If Mania night one was the Mania, and it was one night, it'd be below par.
Yeah.
I think when you tandem it with that crazy second day,
it's tough. How do you book a 2-night event?
It's hard,
especially with intertwining stories.
I think that was the best they've done it because I think like having Sammy and Kevin in the same entrances,
8 hours.
Yeah, and night two was a lot shorter as well. It was about 45 minutes shorter than night one. Because that main event went an hour and a half with entrances. On night one.
Yeah.
Whereas night two was an hour, but it was a full hour. Like you're kind of happy with it.
I think it was comfortably the best Mania of all time.
Yeah, that night two. If night two was the only day, I think that is up there with. I think there's an epic that 30 had it with Daniel Bryan and then Warriors passing. With this one, there's the Bray Wyatt passing being talked about, and then the Cody story, which you can't write that kind of. It's like a 2.5 year story.
Yeah,
and it's longer than that, isn't it? Because he went away.
It's weirdly organic.
Yeah,
and I don't know. And then to have it finally happen, it was emotional. Like it was a hard watch at times.
The whole weekend felt weirdly emotional. I said to Scott earlier, I had that weird feeling all weekend of like
Kieran did as well,
where your chin goes a little bit.
Oh,
you start to do that little
dodgy tummy.
Dodgy tummy.
You start to do that laugh cry almost, where you're kind of like your chin goes, and he's like,
you do what Cody does. You bark.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had a lot of that.
Hey, little spoiler alert, wait until Raw, mate.
Oh, no, we've watched it.
We've seen it
before by now.
And I had that again. Like
that first video is unreal.
Yeah, I had that.
Jesus.
I like it. They almost they peppered in some like his wife, his kid, and his dad constantly just like every time he tried to like get through it.
If they just added Pharaoh the dog, he was gone.
Yeah, he was done. He just walked out.
This might not get included because it turns into a wrestling podcast. But how awkward was that interaction?
Tony felt awkward.
Yeah, for the crowd to shout, "This is awkward." It was really awkward. Everyone was weird. That first segment was 45 minutes.
Way too long.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god! They were like, "We're going to give you a commercial-free hour, and we're just going to feel it with like awkwardness." It was so strange. I was led there because I was watching it live and I was like, wow, this is weird.
It really felt like a Raw After Mania though. That's the first one in a while, I think. Felt like a Raw After Mania.
Yeah.
It had a nice vibe to it. Lissy, do you have any parting words on the podcast about the trip?
Birds.
Don't say go birds like that.
Oh,
that's nasty.
I'd love it if she became an Eagles.
I'll say in the city I get it.
Yeah.
Because when we got in that Uber with Chunks, he said something about Philly. He was really pro Sixers and Eagles. And in my head, I was so nervous that Kira was like, "Aren't you a Dallas fan?" I was just like, "No." I was like, "Oh man, yeah, Philly, that's cool." In my head, I was like,
What was the Uber on the way back to the airport that you're on?
Oh, did I not explain that? Okay, this is my
No.
This is my perfect one. we ordered a Uber, and I like to just check. We would pick maybe Comfort or X or something, just to make sure it's like a higher to a 5-star review, so you feel a bit more comfortable with it. We ordered it, and the guy's name popped up, whatever, and he's 7 minutes away. About 3 minutes away, his name just completely changed to a different name and a different driver. And we hadn't had that before, where it doesn't redirect. It just literally just changed. We were like, that's odd. And let's see, what's the car he was in? A Ford F-150.
So the polar opposite to the Tesla you took at the start.
Yeah. And this guy turns up, and he just pulls up, and we've all got our bags, so we're going to the airport. And he walks around the side, he looks at us, doesn't say anything, he just kind of stares at us. He grabs it into the bag, puts him in the back of the truck, like loose. I'm like, I'll do mine. And he's like banging him in. I lift it in, it's just a pickaxe, some spare wood, and I don't know what else in the corner. I was like, oh, cool. They're not neatly, they're just kind of piled.
Yeah, he's fitting this in between a trip to the Home Depot, I think.
Yeah. We get in the back, and the whole way, I was just like, we were just, and we keep stopping at lights where people were next to it, like people could like grab them.
Oh my god!
So like we were just, brilliant. And then what he did was, anytime Uber told him to take a left to obviously go to our destination, he thought, I won't. I'll go my own way. Cool, mate.
Oh yeah.
Gotta go my own way.
To a point where I was like, if he does one more, he physically can't get to the airport. And I was like, at that point, we got actually, and I started to go through my head. I was like, how do we do this? Because I can't get out of the car. How do I navigate?
And how do I?
Yeah, I have to get hold of him, and we all need to work together.
How do I not talk to Kieran? But what's the word? Telepathically.
And every time I looked at him, he was half moon and just shaking, and I was like, "Oh no, he hasn't got the energy. He hasn't got the energy." But in the end, the guy, what broke the ice was about 3/4 of the way through, because I was watching on my app, like, this is sus, like, this is getting sus. There was a Morgan Wallen story and last night he was in Memphis, and he threw a stool off of a roof or something.
He did, yeah.
And it popped him.
Did it?
And it which popped us, and we all started laughing, and I was like, nah, he's just enjoying his day. Like, he's just
Now we're on.
And I was like, he's fine.
If you hadn't done that, you would have been in, like, chopped up in bits by now.
I'm fairly sure. Yeah, he's like, I like these guys. You know, like, the people he threw him at was the police.
Yeah.
It turned out. And that's what really got him. And then I was like, hate the police.
Yeah, the police, you know?
This is what they're saying. I feel like that would be a very nice ending to the podcast instead of the forever. So that broke the ice, and then we got out. I was worried that he was going to drive up before we got the stuff out the back. It was a slight worry, but we got our stuff. We got in.
You crammed so much in.
You're home.
It was. I felt like I was away for a month. It was only 4 days.
Yeah. It was the longest, shortest trip ever.
Yeah. We got a lot in. There's a lot to tell you that isn't on the podcast.
Yeah.
So.
And if you pay extra, you get it on Patreon.
If you want the stuff I'm about to say, it's available on Patreon. Right. Hey, listen to us on TikTok, the Peppercorn Boys. Listen to us on Facebook. Listen to our Facebook, the Peppercorn Boys. Go to our MySpace, the Peppercorn Boys. We can also stick Rick's
MySpace,
and Goodbye Maurice. You can buy our CDs for the back of our cars. If you do want one, we'll make some copies. Other than that, 5-star review, like Vanessa Hudgens, iTunes,
Heck yeah.
Spotify.
Yeah, I like
You got anything else? I'm not going to end it the way I usually do.
Very different.
No.
So, Bruno, tell us what you think of the police again one more time.
No, I'll finish.
Okay.
Because I'm glad you're back, Scott.
Thank you.
For this one, you, Joe.
Oh.